Welcome to the war room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. Give it to you how you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
Hey, what's good, War Room family? You're once again live in the War Room, which is brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm Jimmy the Blueprint. I'm with my brother B. Austin. The Illuminati is trying to stop us, but we still here. You know, the NFL season is beginning to take shape. NBA preseason has started. Baseball postseason is here. Hockey is back. So it's a lot of sports to definitely talk about. It's that time of year. So keep it locked right here and get in on the conversation. You can do that right now. Go to the JW Philly Realty chat room, which I'm opening up in about 2 seconds because the Illuminati is trying to stop me from doing so. But we're going to get that open up. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you could join us on our Facebook or Twitter, which is at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 10 minutes after we gamble with Gus. When we open up the digital stream tech hotline, the number is 323-410-0012. Before we get started, make sure during the week, we're not live on the air, you check out all of our archived episodes. You know, you can do that at warroomsports.com, the mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, anywhere where you find podcasts, you can find the War Room. And listen, man, just go right to warroomsports.com to pretty much find everything that we're doing. That is the hub, warroomsports.com. Brother B. Austin, I got to ask you a quick question, man. Are we trying to abolish the 13th Amendment or no?
Shout out to the guy in the sunken place. I got a lot to say about that. Are we trying to abolish? Well, I think if we were doing the right thing, it never would have been to begin with, because there would have been no conditions on the erasure of that evil and nefarious institution that is slavery. So, you know, that's my take. It should have never been necessary, and there's no way that it should be conditioned upon imprisonment or incarceration or used as a punishment. That's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, man. So I mean, my question to you is this, though. Speaking of that, Kanye, with all his shenanigans and everything that he got going on, does it affect the way that you hold him in regard in terms of his music, or are you able to separate the two?
I think that, you know, that's a great question. It's funny. I think that more than objectivity, right? And that's a buzzword that the War Room Sports and the War Room Sports Nation have been about for many, many, many moons. I think more than objectivity, we're about balance. To live a human experience without bias is impossible. So I say all that to say, I do still appreciate him as an artist, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't different. I'd be lying and disingenuous if I didn't say that when I hear him or see him, there's mixed emotions.
All right, so so will there ever be an opportunity where, or a chance where it goes back, or is he's done at this point to you? Not necessarily done, but will it ever be the same? I guess I should say.
No, it probably won't. But I would like to. The challenge with all of this is to actually still consider that this man is diagnosed to be, number one, bipolar, but also, I believe, schizophrenic. So I think that we're dealing with mental issues as well as, just his political or social leanings. So I think that has taken into. I think that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah. Interesting. I always wonder, because I know that, a lot of people held him in high regard. just based upon some of his, commentary and things he said in the past, just to see if people could separate the two, right? Because we talk about sports. That's our platform, right? Shout out to Skyview in the chat room. They finally allowed me to open up a chat room. The tech gods is trying to, sabotage us for whatever reason. But we got it working right now. Skyview, I see you in there. Salute to you. But and bringing it back to sports, right? Because we talk sports. I just find it very interesting considering you have guys like, Kobe or OJ or whatever, whoever you name that have had issues, off the field or court, and to see how people treat them, right? And it's interesting. It's also mentioned in Sports to Book, which is the greatest sports book ever written. You can get it at sportstobook.com, that O.J. Simpson, when the NFL was doing like their greatest players of all time, they literally said in ranking him that he fell down a couple notches because of his off-the-field activity. And I was like, huh? Like, what's that got to do? And some of the writers or what have you say that it's an overall thing, like how you represent the game affects how you're ranked. So I always find these arguments interesting because I see both sides of it. It's one of those things where, I can see you, people's actions.
We try. Being objective is noble. It can be. It can be a noble thing, but it's not really possible for a human to look through a lens with complete and utter unbiasedness. So for me, the context around my life and the similarities between myself and Kanye West, which, well, people are going to laugh at that. But what I mean by that is he's a black male born in the late 70s, early 80s in an urban environment in the United States of America. So there's certain commonalities in that experience. And it's like for him to have some of the positions that he has is interesting, man. And I believe that he has suffered a disconnect from the rest of black society in America. And a part of that is due to his wealth. A part of that is due to his ego. A part of that is due to his elite views. And another part of that is due to what I perceive to be serious mental disorders. So when he had the rant on Saturday Night Live, which is what you're referring to, I listened very closely and very carefully. And shout out to Frank Ski, in the morning radio personality based in Atlanta, who kind of broke down some of the buzzwords and some of the key indicators of evidence of Kanye West's mental disorder within that rant, within what he was saying.
Yeah.
And a part of his whole thing is, allow me to be free and be human. And you guys, meaning black society, are so worried about Trump and downing Trump that you're ignoring some of the larger issues. You're ignoring, I think what he was saying is you're ignoring the larger systemic racism that doesn't allow us to be human, i.e. the 13th Amendment and the use of legislation to continue perpetrating racism and slavery in the black community. That's where he was driving at, but here's the problem. You don't get to tell others to forget about what has become a brash symbol of contemporary white supremacy and racism in America. You don't get to say, hey, forget about Trump, forget about those that follow Trump because there's bigger and badder fish to fry in the larger institution of America. It's all one and the same. And what he, President Trump, represents larger has to be addressed. And you can't just label everyone that follows groupthink, because that's what he's getting at, groupthink. Oh, you get to paint the devil's horns on Trump and you get to use lazy analysis. Well, to an extent, that's true. That's human behavior. But there's a larger issue. And Kanye, while making some valid points, is actually derailing the true conversation because it's all one and the same. And what Trump represents is a group of people who supported the use of the 13th Amendment as it's been deployed. So, Kanye.
This is a layered topic. I was, and I see you going in. You get in your bag, which I appreciate all the time. But it's a layered topic because it's interesting because some of the points I get what he's trying to say, but he's terrible at communicating his thoughts. But I always find it interesting in terms of us talking about sports, and we're living in a time, right, where things are so political that it's not just a matter of what your athlete does. You need to know how they feel about certain topics. It's kind of weird because we're old enough, and shout out to all our young listeners because we are the OGs. We're old enough to remember a time where we didn't have access to athletes' lives the way we do now. So I couldn't tell you how they felt about certain topics, nor did the media seem to ask. So it's a combination of the time we live in, the 24-hour news cycle, social media, all these things. It goes into this bag, and now it's not good enough for you to be able to throw a football or shoot a basketball. How do you feel about abortion? How do you feel about gun rights?
We don't have to offer that disclaimer anymore because a large portion of our athletes are standing up. Not a large portion, but a significant amount of our star athletes are standing up and taking a stand and making statements. And because of where social media is today, you don't even have to offer that disclaimer to those that would say, oh, just shut up and dribble, run, and shoot or throw. Or, shut up, Jimmy, B. Austin, and Devin, just talk about the sport, because there is no lines to be crossed anymore.
You know, it's crazy, right?
It's all one and the same.
It's crazy, right? Because it's so many layers to this. I was talking to Jamel. Yeah, I'm name dropping. And she was talking to me about how athletes have always been on the cutting edge in terms of social change. But the question I have for you, and I'm not giving my opinion one way or another, I just really want to see how you feel about it. And to the callers, listen, make sure you call in and join this conversation. We're getting ready to get Gus on in a second. But I think it's an interesting conversation because what do you think it does for the games that we enjoy? Do you think it's a good thing that athletes are forced to kind of take a political stance one way or another? And it's not just athletes. You see it with your companies that you do business with. You can know, like, how do you feel about this social topic, whether it's gun control laws or abortion or affirmative action, whatever the topic of the day is. We need to know where you stand. It's not just about how well you are at your craft. What does it do to the games that we grew up enjoying? Is it a good thing overall, or is it a bad thing? What do you think about that? Real quick, B. Austin, and then I'll get Gus on.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing because where social injustice is allowed to fester and it's not tied into your athletes, your entertainers, your celebrities, and your folks in the public eye, where they don't take a stand, where they don't let their feelings and thoughts and positions be known, then whatever it is that they are a part of, whatever job they're doing to maintain that celebrity and get that check is a distraction, taking the people away from what matters and what is important. So really it becomes that proverbial line in the sand, either you're with us or against us. And if you're against us as an athlete or entertainer, that means you don't take a stand, you don't make a difference, and you're part of a distraction that keeps the larger populace, their mind occupied and away from what matters and what's important. So I love when
get that
LeBron
point, but the
James,
question I'm asking you is what does it do for the actual game? Because it's interesting to me to see the topics when you talk about sports now. A lot of the talk about sports has nothing to do with sports. You know, which is I enjoy it because I like politics as well. I look at business and politics like their own sports. Like I literally follow CEOs and certain political figures and watch them the same way I watch an athlete. So for me, like all my worlds are merging, so I enjoy it. But I also talk to people who look at athletics as being a distraction from all the other things. And I'm not taking that side because, again, I enjoy it. But I just wonder how our callers, and again, we got some calls in line. I definitely want to chime in on this. I'll get you guys on. But think about this before I get you on. Do you think it's, even if you agree with athletes taking a stand, do you think that it's hindered the game in any way whatsoever? Just the pure game.
Nah, man.
Do you think it's hindered the game in any way? Not at all?
Nah, I don't. I think there are other things at work here that hinder the game or have diluted the sport or done negative. It's not athletes, celebrities, and entertainers taking a stand or letting their position be known. It's other things.
Okay. All right, I respect that. Anyway, man, definitely some good dialogue to start the show. Well, we just jump right into it. First, the Illuminati try to hold us back, and then we just get right into it. But let's talk about some hot topics, which is brought to you by MyBookie. What up, y'all? Let's talk turkey and how much of it you can make betting on sports contests, and that's on MyBookie because the NFL is here, MLB postseason is here, basketball's on its way. So it's a great time to, try to make some chicken betting on these sports. You can lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag. You're tired of getting a run around when it's time for a payout? Don't worry, that's not going to happen here. That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay fast and without any hassles. You're wasting your time betting on sports anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting, so you can place wagers after the tip-off, the kickoff, face-off, whatever it is you watch. You can bet on all of it. You can join now. MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. That's right, 100%. Just use the promo code when you sign up, which is War Room, one word, WARROOM, and you can activate this offer. That is mybookie.ag. Look, play, win, get paid, period. First thing we got to do is speaking of, gambling, we got to bring Gus on because we're talking gambling with Gus. Gus can give his opinion of our previous topics before he gives us his picks, but we got to hear his picks for this week. Gus, what's up, good brother? You're now in the War Room.
How y'all doing? I enjoyed the discussion there.
Yeah, man. My
on this, man.
My fault, Gus. Brother Jimmy knows how to set me up. Like what he's doing right now is he's leading the league in assists right now, and he's letting me score.
But you know what, Gus?
I'm taking all the shots.
It's a great discussion. I know you have thoughts. You do a lot. You do writing, and we've read your pieces, so I know that you're a very thoughtful person. But I just wonder, like, in terms of athletics, this happens a lot of times where people say or do something and does it affect how you look at them as an athlete? That's the one part of it. And the second part is, how do you feel about politics invading your sports? Because there are people on both sides, and this it doesn't really skew directly down race lines. It does somewhat, but I've seen people, even brothers and sisters, African Americans, say, "Look, I need this distraction," and they're doing too much. So I want to get your opinion real quick before you give us your picks for the week. How do you feel about the politics of sports?
Well, I wouldn't term it as invading because they've always been there. I think for the quote-unquote majority population, let's cut to it, white, primarily privileged folks, but white folks in general, they've had the luxury of trying to compartmentalize their sports. So this is an escape. And I get that on one level. It's an escape. We don't want to mix the two up. Those of us who live the day-to-day lives of being black in America, women in America, any group that's marginalized from the power, whether it's LGBT, Native Americans, you can go across the lines, different demographics. We don't have the luxury of necessarily doing that. And so any platform we have that we can get our issues on the table to be discussed, we just don't have the luxury of not doing that. And so I've never seen it as separate. And I didn't really understand that I didn't see it as separate, but I never did. Growing up, you can't tell me if you look at that Laker-Celtic ESPN 30-30 series, you can't tell me that there aren't political lines that are drawn in how you root for teams. I can tell you pretty much a person's political background based on the teams that they root for the most. By and large, not always, of course, but I can give you a pretty good idea of who they root for. They like Notre Dame. They like Duke. Come on. They like Notre Dame. They like Duke. Blah 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 blah. I can pretty much tell you. Okay, so, but that's just me. Okay. A couple of books though. Huh?
You supported Bush. Anyway, again, yeah. Talk to him, Gus. Tell him.
Hey, couple of books. I know your time's short. Couple of books though that I think intersect that. Dave Zirin's The People's History of Sports is a great book. He's actually a colleague of mine here at Montgomery College. Great. I mean, I learned things in that book about sports that I never knew, and he really covers it well. Eton Thomas has just released a book called We Matter, Athletes and Activism. That's a great read to kind of go into the subject matter as well for your audience. I just got it. I've read a little bit of it, but I love the book.
I've read Dave Zirin's work, and we actually sat down. We were sat on a panel with Dave Zirin, so he's a pretty enlightened guy. But go ahead, though.
Etron was a bum as a player, but he is an all-star as an activist and socially conscious brother. I really appreciate him as a human. Now, he wasn't much better than me at basketball. In fact, he wasn't. He was just taller. But, man, his social stances are amazing, man. Salute to that brother. We appreciate you and love you on the War Room, and we know you're listening. So if you want that one-on-one, it's all good, baby. Get it.
Yeah.
The last.
Back to what I'm saying, Dave is very sharp. Like, we sat on a panel with him at Temple University, on some sort of sports panel. But he was a pretty interesting guy to hear him speak. But what's the last one you said?
Well, the last thing I was going to just on the Kanye piece, take whatever teachable moment we can. I work with a lot of young people, particularly young black males, wherever they're from, Africa, here. We all Africans as far as I'm concerned. But when he made that comment about slavery months back, you might be shocked at how many young people actually agreed with him because they haven't been taught anything differently. We've been taught that we were the happy, kind of just, accommodating slaves. And what it did, it gave me an opportunity to introduce an author, a very, very, very brilliant man by the name of Dr. Gerald Horne. And he wrote a book called The Counter-Revolution of 1776. And it gives a whole new spin on the roots of the so-called revolution and the role of slavery in it, which was as prevalent in that war as it was in the Civil War. But we were never taught that. And the fact is, uprisings and revolts were common, but we were never taught that. And so when he said that, it resonated with a lot of young people because they don't know anything. And you don't even hear a thing about Dr. Horne. He's at the University of Houston, History and African American Studies. He's a frequent political commentator on WPF.
Yeah, I've actually read that book, and it's interesting because man, we got to share book lists, man. Because you named a couple books that I read, one that I didn't read, but that book right there, like, and I hate saying
it blew you away.
It's so cliche. Yeah, I hate saying a phrase of it. It changed my life because I probably say it about 100 different books because I love books, but that was a book that enlightened me because it's sort of like reading the book Lies My Teacher Told Me when you realize just how you lied to your whole life. But nonetheless, though, great points, man. But you know what we got you on for, man? We got you on because outside of being an enlightened brother yourself, you love to gamble. Come
on, man.
Listen, man, you gotta mix the ratchet with the right people, man. You gotta stay balanced that way, man.
Investment.
You gotta stay balanced. You gotta stay balanced, man. So you gotta have your investments and you gotta have your enlightenment, man. So let's talk about some investments. Sports investments is Gus told us to refer to his stuff. He said his stuff isn't gambling; it's sports investment. So.
Exactly.
Last week, 3-1-1. It's pretty good. It's pretty good right there.
That's right. I'm 8-3-1 since starting out 0-5.
Nice. Let's ask you about a couple of games though. Bills plus 3.5 over the Titans.
Yeah, Bills have a secret kind of under a sleeper of the NFL the last couple of years. The Bills have had a pretty good defense for the last several years. And when I looked at that game, I'm looking at now what's more likely the outcome: the Bills come out 2-3 or the Titans come out 4-1. I think the Bills coming out 2-3 is much more likely than the Titans coming out of that game 4-1. So I'll take the Bills plus the 3.5. I'm actually probably going to take them to win on the money line on some level.
Okay, nice. All right. So we got the Falcons who are also getting 3.5 over the Steelers. Man, the Falcons, man, fantasy-wise, the Falcons are lighting it up, but they can't win no games. What you got? Falcons getting 3.5.
Exactly.
How's that?
Well, it goes back to that how fantasy is driving football. Fantasy football and PlayStation is driving the game. You can be great in one and mediocre in the other. But I think in this case, I hate to say it, my Steelers are just in total disarray. And to speak of the Steelers as being unstable, that's like lightning striking twice. But that's where they're at. The defense isn't there. The Falcons, like you just said, they can score. I wouldn't be shocked if they win outright. I hope they don't, of course, but certainly I'm taking the 3.5 with the Falcons.
Okay, got you. All right, so how about the Seahawks? They're getting 7.5 over, as Dev calls them, this year's dream team, the Rams. But the 7.5, the Seahawks getting 7.5 against the Rams, that just like
at home.
You know, you look at how fast football changes, right? The Seahawks were competing for Super Bowls just a couple of years ago, and now they're getting 7.5 against the Rams. It just sounds ridiculous, but that's where we're at now. So, what you got on that?
Well, I think it is ridiculous in terms of the line, and I think what they want everyone to do is take the Rams and lay that 7.5. Laying hooks on 7-3 or 10, 14 is rarely very intelligent anyway. I think this is going to be one of them. First of all, the Seahawks still have a top 10 pass defense. I think this is one of those games where Goff finally has maybe 2 interceptions, and the Seahawks can stay in the game. I'm not necessarily picking them to win, but the Rams are certainly due for a down game. That's just the way it happens. And Seattle up in Seattle is still no. I'm going to take that 7.5.
Got you. Okay, so we got the Cardinals are getting 4.5 against the Niners.
Okay.
What you got
in
there?
That game, I'm taking the Cardinals. I think in that game, first of all, they're desperate, obviously. I've always thought of the 2000 of this rookie quarterback class. I've always thought that Josh Rosen was going to be the best of them, and who knows? That remains to be seen. But I've always thought he's going to be the best. This will be his second game. Beathard is not as good as he played last week. The 49ers had a rally game last week. That's why I took the 10.5, and I got by on that one. They had a rally game last week after a big injury. I think they're going to start dropping back to their mean without Garoppolo. So I'm taking the Cardinals plus the 4.5. They may actually get their first win there.
Texans minus 3.5 against the Cowboys.
Yeah, Texans have a top 10 run defense. And you don't need to be a football professor to know that if you can stop Dallas's run game, they have no chance of beating you, minus you turning it over a bunch of times. No one in the league fears Dak Prescott throwing the ball downfield. So the strategy against Dallas is pretty easy. Now that doesn't mean it's easy to stop. They still have a good offensive line, and Buckwheat, I call him, is still a hell of a running back. But But I think the Texans found they found their offense, and again, Dallas just doesn't have enough weapons on defense. So I'm taking the Texans.
Okay, all right, nice, man. So we'll see how you do this week, and we'll tally everything up for the season, man. But as usual, man, we appreciate your time. I'm gonna send you a message offline, man. You gotta share some more books with me that I may not have read already, man. But I appreciate you as always, man. And thanks for bringing information to us, Gus.
Well, thank you, and I'll look forward to what you've read as well.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care, brother.
Thanks, Gus.
Oh, man, our phone line's on fire right now, man. Let's get Lou from Jersey. Other calls we'll get to you in a minute. We've got to get through some of these calls. Lou, how are you, sir?
All right.
What's going on, Lou? What you want to talk about, Lou?
Well, of course, I've seen some of the through the first part of the season. I've seen, of course, some big surprises in the league, and I've seen some disappointments, of course, in the league.
Okay.
I mean,
what's your biggest disappointment?
Well, my biggest disappointment is probably the obvious right now is the Patriots, who are not living up to potential they've been in the past few years. But then again, with Edelman coming back, that might be changing. Also with the Steelers, without Bell, this team I don't think is going to do very much. They don't have a good solid linebacker. If they don't get Bell back, it's going to be a miserable season the rest of the way. Now, for the positive side, although I'm not a fan of it, the Dolphins, I mean, their quarterback has really shaped it up in its second year. I am not a Dolphins fan by any means, but I will give them credit after their good start, much as I can't stand them.
What's interesting, though, the season is very long, and New England has been so dominant in that division that a lot of people aren't even paying attention to kind of what you just said, which is a good point that the Dolphins are starting out very well.
I know.
But, if I ask you right now, do you think they'll, they can sustain this and that New England won't end up running away with the division? What would you say?
Well, I know a lot of people, are going to disagree with that. I'm used to it. So if they ignore me of what I'm saying, so be it.
Okay. Okay,
I mean,
yeah. So I mean,
because I know now
it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
He's my close friend, so agree with me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And there's a lot of football left to be played. Injuries can happen. You got, like you said, you got people coming back from injury. And it's just hard to count out a team after 4 games when they've been so successful and they've dominated that division for over a decade at this point. I mean, man, what, a decade and a half or something like that? They've been dominating that division. So, but it's good to see the Dolphins kind of finally competing, I guess, a little bit. But only time will tell. But it's interesting to see the Steelers because you're the second person to bring up the Steelers.
So I got take this and run. I'll try and call you again as soon as possible.
Yeah, Lou. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
Sure.
All right. Take care. Yeah, man. It's interesting to see people with that whole situation with New England because they kind of starting out slow, but B. Austin, who does anybody really believe in the Dolphins, man? But let's get Tobias on because Tobias has been on hold. We want to get his opinion on a couple things, man. Tobias, how are you, sir?
What's going on, gentlemen? I think Mr. Charlie got a hold of Dev, huh? But
listen, man, Dev is our safety, so salute to him.
Hey, but first thing about New England, no one wants to talk about this with Tom Brady. He had the ultimate break for the past in the league that the rest of the division has been god-awful, so he always got that first home game, usually a bye week. But nobody wants to talk about that. I'm not knocking them for it because you got to play who you got to play, but they don't want to bring that up. But if they don't like the quarterback, they'll bring that up. But anyway, I heard y'all talking about Kanye. I heard y'all talking about Kanye and stuff, right? And my thing is LeBron does a lot for the community out there in the Akron area. He's done a lot. Now, I do say just going around saying F Trump and calling him names is not political activism. That's just more that the Democrats just going crazy instead of trying to come over a candidate who will beat him instead of the 2-time failure who lost to the black guy in a reality TV star. Never thought I'd see a politician do that. But the thing is that problem is Kanye is trying to play both sides of the fence, but he can't please two sides because at the end of the day, he's an entertainer, meaning that white people own entertainment. He's trying to ingratiate himself with them. And it's never going to work because there is no retirement or pension plan for Coonan. Ask Bill Cosby. Once they're done with you, with you, and they're going to take all your money.
Whoa! Shots fired.
You said a lot to you said a lot to unpack right there.
I'm here for it, Tobias. I'm here for it.
But Tobias, here's the question though, right? And I don't disagree with everything you said. The great equalizer with that being said is that they do want entertainment. But what you're seeing is kind of like a renaissance in like music and entertainment business with people having a direct to consumer approach and taking their business in their own hands. I don't know if he's willing to do that because the thing about doing that is you don't get the spotlight. But that's neither here nor there. The question I have for you is, and I agree with your point about just saying F Trump because that's one of the complaints that I have with a lot of brothers and sisters that I talk to is like, you guys want to sit around and complain about this guy all day, but what's the plan, right? And when you actually study the data, you see that it wasn't that like he won the election. She more or less lost the election. There were so many jurisdictions in swing states where people literally voted the entire Democratic ticket and didn't just click her name because they wanted nothing to do with the Clintons. So the Democrats pretty much they didn't run a candidate that was first of all competitive enough. People didn't like her, and that's their preference. But with that being said, what do you think about all the politics in sports? Do you think that it affects the game in any way? I wouldn't ask you whether you like it or not because I'm pretty sure that you like to see people stand up for what they believe in. But just talking to people over the course of this week, and some people who I absolutely respect, right? Because one of the things I don't like to do is live in an echo chamber and talk to people who do nothing but agree with me. I like to hear different perspectives and see their logic. But I heard a lot of people tell me just in conversation this week, like that they don't like football. And like football is almost ruined for them. They love the game, but it's so many other things. And it's not that they dislike Kaepernick or don't support him, but the love of the different games are gone because of the politics. How do you feel? Do you think it affects the game in any way whatsoever?
Here's a two-part answer to that. First part is white people. I was thinking of white people. They want to say stick to sports, so they don't want politics in their sports because it's about things that have to address them getting their advantages and how black people being mistreated in the 400 plus years in the country. That's all that is. Let's just be honest about that. But the other thing is, they say keep politics out of sports. Those stadiums you're currently paying those taxes for, those owners fleecing these cities, that's politics, people.
Talk to them.
Because the stadium here in Phoenix, Glendale, for the Cardinals, I think it was built in 2005, 2006. We're still paying taxes on that.
Good point.
The Chargers moved because of stadiums. The Rams moved because of taxes and stadiums. The Sonics, all that stuff. That's politics, people. And so politics is in your sports. Politics is, correct me if I'm wrong here, the color barrier. The politics is like when it comes to like these players declaring early, things like that. Maurice Clarett went to court to lead the draft early.
Absolutely brilliant and profound position, man. Absolutely brilliant and profound perspective, man.
It reminds me of a book that Cornel West wrote, which is called Race Matters. And kind of what he says in the book is that, you know, whether we want to admit it or not, in every aspect of life, we can sit here and say, I don't see color, but race always matters. Like, it literally always matters. So it's interesting that you bring that up about how politics is already there. But, you know, a lot of – man, I hear you. And that's some powerful stuff you said right there, man. But let's go back to something else you said, man. When you said that when they're done with you, they're done with you. You asked Bill Cosby. Man, that was heavy, man. What's up with you, man? You come on today just sending shots at everybody, man. So my question is, when you gonna send a shot at Fat Barry though?
Hey, man, all I know is that he and Zach LaVine don't like defense and say they don't care about defense, and you go 1 for 12 in the preseason game where folks ain't even trying.
Be awesome. If you don't catch that one, you know Tobias is a Bulls fan, and he calls him Fat Barry Parker. Because Bull basically gained a gazillion pounds and said he don't care about defense, he just want to score, but he ain't been able to do that either. So, just a little context of who Fat Barry is.
Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy. Hey, you forgot my other one. When I call Zach LaVine the light-skinned trampoline, you know. That's all he good for is jumping. Can't shoot good, can't pass, can't defend, but he can jump. Boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, man. Look how the mighty Bulls are falling, man. Go ahead. What's up?
Can I ask you guys a quick question? All right. Because I know it's like, I listen to some of these sports shows while I'm at work and stuff, and they talk about the top 100 list. Carl Anthony Towns, you remember when he was getting all those votes to start a team with? Do you think, and he got none this year, do you think the playoffs last year really hurt that because he was looking real suspect out there?
Absolutely. Listen, this is just proof positive of the old adage that, like, you know, the playoffs is where you really make your money and you really make your name. The regular season is cool for the highlights and all that, but you make your name in the playoffs, right? Because I'll give you an example. Karl Anthony Towns, going into the playoffs, people were talking about him as being a top 5 player. He had a terrible playoffs, right? But then you look at Jason Tatum on the other hand, who had an okay season. You know, it was okay, but the playoffs took his game up another level, and now people are talking about him being the next coming of LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Like, it goes to show you, because I guess you have so many eyes on you in the playoffs and the games matter. So, you know, that's what you make your name.
They overreacted in both instances.
Yeah,
I mean, it's possible, but it's true, but it's just proof though.
You know what I think it is though? It's like I listened to like Jalen Rose and talking like Stan Van Gundy talk big men, and like someone talked about Greg Monroe in the group I was in, but I said no, it's always been the athletic big men. Even those big men, the top big men in the 90s or 2000s, they were athletic. It's the plotting guy who never made it anyway. You know,
Patrick Ewing wasn't the greatest athlete. You know, but I get your point.
Got the way started.
I think the game is different too, though. The game is it's like pretty much evolved into a European game at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? And people keep talking about, like, Stan Van Gundy, like, running small. Like, dude, if you got Joel Embiid or Boogie Cousins, you don't give them the ball. Or Anthony Davis, you don't give them the ball. I just think that you have to just be you can't be Greg Monroe out there nowadays. You have to have some sort of athleticism. It's not necessarily a three-point shot. It could be a 15 and 18-footer. Because I do think that just everybody every big man wanting to be, Dale Ellis here, kind of takes away from your God-given advantage sometimes. Because sometimes you may need a two-point basket. Sometimes you can throw that ball down and get that two-point basket. How many players have the game in which they can play with their back to the basket, like a Joel Embiid or DeMarcus Cousins? Because the fact of the matter is, Joel is different. I'm gonna tell you why Joel is different. Joel is different because Joel does something a lot of these other guys don't. Joel gives effort on defense, right? So he gives effort on defense. But a lot of these guys, even if they have a back to the basket game, like Big Ja, who is almost out of the league at this point after being like a top pick, you can't play defense. And even if you have a back to the basket move, if you're going to give up buckets every time on the other side, you're not going to play in this league. Might as well go small.
You're just not going to play. They'd rather have a DeAndre Jordan who's athletic, really can't give you any back to the basket moves, but you can defend and you can play off the pick and roll.
And you know what? It's like the kid DeAndre Ayton out here.
That's a great point. That's a very, very good point. One of the issues that I've been noticing, Tobias, is it's trickling down now to our youth. I still go to the playgrounds and get off now and again and embarrass myself more often than not. But I've noticed that the big kids, like you'll have a young man, 17, 18 years old, and he'll be 6'5", or 6'7", and he has no post work, none whatsoever at all. And I'm down here posting him up at 6 feet, and he doesn't know how to defend it, nor does he know how to take advantage of the fact that I'm 6 feet. I'm like, it's so sad to me. Like, it's really sad. It hurts me to see the degradation of the game.
It's literally a different game. It's just a different game at this point. Like, so the fact of the matter is, if you have a back-to-the-basket game, but you're like unathletic as a big man and you can't play off the pick and roll, you can't spot up,
you're done.
You won't get clocked. There's plenty of guys when you watch college basketball who have those skill sets, but they can't get clocked because the game has moved to such a fast-paced game, and it's just changed to the point where those skills, if you have guys who have those skills, and teams try to work around it, but it doesn't work. There's a lot of things at play here. There's the idea of the analytics and how that's taking hold of the game. There's the idea of getting up more shots. If you study the history of the game and look at the amount of shots that are put up over the course of time, we're in one of the areas now. Like there have been times in the past, don't get me wrong, we've put up more shots, but we're putting up a lot of shots now. So no one wants to play when you pound the ball down low and have someone like, think about the rule changes where cats used to get the ball and they would pound it down low for 18 seconds and then make a move. Like, you can't even do that no more. So, a lot of it's legislated. A lot of it is the skill sets. A lot of it is what's being taught. But that's what I went to an AAU game, and everybody's on the wing, right? But that's just what it is. That's how you get your scholarship. It's a different game.
You know what? I'll say this and I got to run. Look, I watched Golden State, and I've been saying for a couple of years, Golden State made everybody lose their damn minds. Steph Curry gets just as many layups as he does three-pointers and mid-range jumpers. KD the same way.
Mm-hmm.
KD and Klay Thompson be posting cats up left and right. They have diversified games. See, the problem is that it's not the three-point shot. It's the fact that these people aren't diversifying their games. Because what if your shot doesn't go in? Holla at Houston. What do you have next? And that's what makes Golden State special. It's not the three-point shot. It's the ball movement. We get just as many left and mid-range and post-up.
You're leaving out a big part of that too, right? So
and the defense.
First off, you're talking about two of the top 5 players in the league. So it's like, okay, everybody can't be Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. That's the one thing. And two, what they have that nobody has. It's not diversified. It's not just listen, it's not just a diversified game. It's the fact that I've seen Steph and KD have bad games, and Clay comes out of nowhere and gives you 30. So it's like they also have enough a diversified bench and a diversified starting lineup. They have talent that they have second units that could probably start in most of the league. So they have that, so you can't leave that part out of it. But you're right, they do post up, but there are a lot of guards that post up in the league. They're not the only ones. But that's what I mean about the game changer. It's not about the big guy pounding it down low, tall. So even within the context of them posting up, that's what's in the flow of their offense, and those pieces fit together so well, which is why that team is so successful. It's not just the talent, but there's so much context to the Warriors. They're great players, and they fit well as a unit.
I agree with everything you're saying, Jimmy, but I get and understand Tobias's point because it's just like when Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson had their times, right? When Michael Jordan was atop the world, you wanted a ball-head swingman with earrings that could post up and shoot fadeaways. And the fadeaway became the thing to be able to do. AI, the crossover, became the thing to do. Golden State is on top of the world right now, and the only thing that people emulate is the deep three ball, not realizing that KD, though he shoots that at 38 to 40%, when he needs to get a bucket, he goes to the elbow extended. When they need Steph to get off and get a bucket going to the cup, they set that pick and roll. He slips the screen with the ball and gets to the rack and gets a layup. So it's like a part of the signature points of their games, it's like people ignore, and it's almost like the dunk. It's like they only look at dunking or they only look at shooting the long ball, and they're not paying attention to or emulating the more mundane components of the game, hitting a 12 to 14-footer elbow extended. Like, never mind that. I'm not trying to go mid post.
But that's just inaccurate though, because a lot of the teams, especially if you look at the statistics of the teams that made the playoffs, right? Those teams, they shoot just as many 2-point field goals as say a Golden State. Even Houston just gets up more shots overall. Period. They get up more threes than anybody. They get up more twos than anybody. Houston is letting it go. Like they trust the shooter.
That's Romelo this year, baby. It's going up.
Yeah, so but if you look at the bottom of the league, right, in terms of how the game is played, it's literally the teams that shoot more twos and threes. That's just statistically a fact. Golden State averages about 33s a game themselves. They do have players that can play inside and outside, but so do other teams. But the fact is, those other teams that have players that can do both, those players aren't Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. It's a difference, right? So even if
and they did defensively too. And here's the other thing, guys.
This current Lakers team, they have people that can post up, but they're not Steph Curry. They're not Kevin Durant. That's a big part of it, is the fact that those guys are uber talented. They're some of the best players to ever play basketball.
And I say this, and I'm going to run, but thanks for taking my call. But I think what happens also is a good conversation, though, because I think people, like, a lot of times say, what is this one thing they did well? And that's what makes those players great, their ability to do other things. And because I remember when I was a kid watching Mike, there have been a lot of games Mike was cold, but Mike said, don't go to this hole, go to the free throw line, get going. And I remember something KG used to do. When a player was cold, sometimes try the continuation, he'll swat it anyway, or, because he don't want to see the ball go in. And I just think that, some of those things over the years, that sometimes it gets lost because everyone's playing 2K and jacking up stuff, where sometimes it's not all or nothing with the three. It's not all over the post game. You have to have – I think we build these great teams, you have to have both, because sometimes your shot may not go in, but, hey, can you do it? Or they may double your big man, get in foul trouble. What can you do?
And don't get me wrong, Tobias. I agree with you. The ability to make adjustments is one of the most important things in every sport, not just basketball. I just think using Golden State as a measuring stick is probably a bad way to go, because even if I can make adjustments like them, even if I can make adjustments, say just like Golden State, I can make the adjustment. I'm not making the adjustment with Kevin Durant. I'm not making the adjustment with Steph Curry. I'm not making this with Klay Thompson, Iguodala.
What about Draymond?
We didn't even mention Big Weldon, it's a difference when you're making an adjustment and you making an adjustment bringing in other guys who've been all-stars, right? You got David West at the bottom of your bench. Are you serious? It's a difference when you can make an adjustment and you're bringing in an all-star to make the adjustment with, if that makes any sense. So I get your point, though. Making an adjustment is a crucial part of the game, right? It's like when people watched the Showtime Lakers play back in the day, people got enamored with the fast break and all that, but they were one of the better defensive teams as a team. I know B. Austin got his magic slander about his man-to-man defense, but a team defense, they were one of the better team defensive teams in the entire league back then, but people only recognize the fast break.
Same with the Warriors, defense. Jimmy. Same with the Warriors. Great defensive team, and they are great. I know Mark Jackson put that in them, and they're like Steph ain't a great defender, but he tries. And part of defense is effort.
But that's what I'm saying. But not being a great one-on-one defender, if you play great team defense, you can make up for that.
And plus, my last thing, him putting forth the effort, and he and KD, the two best players, putting forth the effort, that trickles down to the rest of the teams. That, hey, man, I know this guy ain't that great is out there, but he's trying, and that trickles down. But, hey, I want to say, hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. Hey, man, holler at you guys next week, man.
Thanks for all the conversation, man. Great points as always, man. We appreciate you, buddy. Salute. Fellas.
No doubt.
Yeah, man. Great conversation this evening, man. Cass is calling in with the fire, man. Let's get through a couple topics real quick. I know Rob said he wanted me to bring him back on in a minute. He was dealing with a young lady. He wanted to handle that first. So, Rob, I'm gonna get back to you in a minute, man. Finish handling your business, man. We're gonna get back to you.
Man, that's pretty quick.
Anyway, listen, man. I want to see if you got an opinion on this at all, man. Major League Baseball, right? So they have their playoffs are getting ready to start. So I just want to know, real quick, you're not going to really dig too deep into it, Paul. Who do you have winning the whole thing? Do you even know who's in the playoffs, Bill?
The Phillies.
No. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to ask you who you have winning the entire thing and see if the team that you named is even in the playoffs.
Pittsburgh.
Here's what's funny, right? I thought that was a trick question because I figured that the easy answer all the time, if someone asked you that, would just be to say the Yankees.
I hate the Yankees. I refuse.
Okay, I respect that. It's funny because I was looking at the teams in the playoffs and it's some good teams, but I think I'm gonna go with the Dodgers just based on Yasiel Puig. And for those who haven't seen it, just Google Yasiel Puig post-game interview. He basically said he's about to win the whole thing. And he was talking all kinds of crazy and looking mad suspect in doing it. But I'm gonna roll out with these Dodgers, man. Besides the fact that Magic.
The Dodgers are all about winning, man. Their ownership has won at life, so there's no way that they can lose. My man beat something that can't even be beat. Now he sacrificed his son to do so, but
he definitely sacrificed his son.
That's top notch.
Man. Shout out to the Dodgers. I think it's now in our chat room. Scotty, we can come to our chat room talking and salute to them. Before I get to the next topic, because they brought up a good point. We started the show talking about Kanye and athletes and the whole nine. And Scott, you said that we always have to go back to basically when Kanye lost his mom. Because he said when he lost his, everything changed for him.
I totally agree with that.
Someone else, I think it's Niall. Salute to Niall, that's you. Says that that was the hardest time of their life. The hardest time of their life is losing a parent.
If Kanye's mom was alive, do you think he'd be married to who he's married to? Really?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Okay. Kanye's mom was to use the jargon used too much. She was a woke woman. I haven't lost my mom, but I did lose my father at a young age, so I totally get it. How it can change you, but we always got to keep that in mind. And be also, you brought up a good point too when you said that when speaking about him and certain people out here, there's mental illness that we just don't address. Period. Keep that in mind as well. But anyway, look at y'all in the chat room holding it down, man.
My man Kanye, in that particular Saturday Night Live situation, addressed the black community on the low. I don't even know if many people caught it, but he was like, y'all think I'm crazy. It's me against y'all. Like, he took the position that the black community is against him. Not community at large, but just the black community, and rightfully so because of the MAGA, the Make America Great Again hats. But, yo, your man is schizophrenic, man. He's a schizo.
Yeah. Sad, man. Listen, let's get back into sports. So let's talk about the NBA because, Jimmy Butler is trying to get out of there, and the Heat are really aggressive in trying to get Jimmy Butler. Where do you think he's going to go, and do you think that he will make any difference for the Heat?
I definitely think that he would make a difference for the Heat. I'm wondering how he would play a role with Mary Jane, but I definitely think that he would sit in there and bar. I definitely think he would fit in, and I'm wondering what the Heat would have to give up in order to make said move happen. Would that be giving up Dwayne Wade? Not necessarily going to Minnesota. Walked away from.
Out of here.
Yeah, he is. And what type of draft choices? Justice Winslow. The Justice Winslow experiment should be coming to a close pretty soon, so he's not of much value. What are they giving up? Nobody wants to sign Whiteside, not because he's a bum, but because that contract is hideous. So what's the value?
The Rockets are also trying to make a move. The Rockets are also trying to make a move for him, but the problem that the Heat have is that Minnesota was trying to dump a bunch of trash salaries on him as well. So it's interesting times, man. To see so much player movement is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, man. So we'll see what happens with that, man. But another quick question in reference to the NBA is, it's interesting in the preseason, with LeBron going to Cleveland, right? Everyone has pretty much put Boston and Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals. Are they making a mistake? Is anyone overlooking the Raptors, or are they right to just, put Boston there? I mean, Toronto still has a solid team, and they got rid of, their most loyal player, but, they added the God to their team. So are people overlooking them? Are people foolish to not give the Raptors a shot, B. Austin?
Yes, I think that Kawhi can make that much difference, and Toronto's point guard has proven time in and time again that, he's not what y'all think, and he's not what he looks like. So I think that they are I think they're an outside contender for the 1 or 2 spot. I definitely have them 3 or 4, 5 at worst. 3 or 4 likely, 5 at worst, and possibly 1 or 2. I don't, as a Philadelphia
it wouldn't shock me if they finish. It wouldn't shock me if they finish 1 or 2. But I mean, these days in the NBA, it seems like cats don't really care where they fall in terms of shot to Popovich and Bron for literally not caring about seeding anymore. They just want to get the playoffs healthy.
I don't agree with that. I think there's 3 teams or 3 people that can afford to do that. A team with LeBron, the Warriors, and a Pop-led team with certain levels of talent. Everybody else better care where that seeding is. You ain't got the best player in the world or the best coach. Y'all better worry. Don't get it twisted.
I understand that.
That seeding.
I understand that, but that's how teams play these days. People rest on damn near every team at this point. I mean, for me though, I can see them landing anywhere from 1 to 4. It wouldn't shock me, but I just laugh when people don't give them a shot at all. I'm like, you got to laugh.
My man laughed at y'all. Yo, that laugh sounds nasty. That laugh sounds nasty. Yo, Jimmy. That laugh sounds like his braids. It sounds like his cornrows.
Real quick though.
That's his cornrows laughing.
I gotta give you a stat of the week. Before we move on. Then we're gonna get to Rob on the floor real quick. Stat of the week though. is Patrick Mahomes. He's averaging 7 attempts per game of 20-plus yards, right? So he's going down the field. The guy he replaced, Alex Smith, has 7 total attempts of 20-plus yards this entire season.
Yo,
wow.
Alex Smith is what you say Sam Bradford is. Yo, my man don't throw the ball further than he is Captain Dink Dunk. Captain Dink Dunk. Like, and I like Alex. I don't get it wrong. Like, I don't got nothing against Alex Smith, but yo, never mind Alex. Patrick Mahomes. Yo, what's wrong with dude, yo? How he balling like yo, it's a video game, cuz. Yo, he's playing in a video game, and he's the maker player. Like, yo, he is balling something awful. Salute to Andy Reid, the quarterback whisperer. There are things that he can't do very well, and there are things that he can do very well, and one of them is make black quarterbacks shine.
Yo, shout out to all the Chiefs fans. I know a lot of Chiefs fans. I saw exactly what you did. I know a lot of Chiefs fans, and most Chiefs fans I know are like, look, playoffs thing starts, so they only they want to get hyped, but they can't get hyped because they just wait for Andy to blow it in the playoffs. Paul. Shout out to KC Mack in our group chat who says no fat Pat talk, man. He said Alex Smith played one less game. KC Mack don't want to jinx the ball. He don't even want us talking about the ball. But we got to talk about it. He's balling right now. How can we not talk about it, KC Mack? Got to talk about it.
Patrick Mahomes
where credit is due.
Has the best start of an NFL quarterback in history ever. No one's ever started hotter.
Let me tell people real quick how they can get in touch with us, and then Rob, we're going to bring you on. You can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, take your time and look around. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message to us about our company, show, or if you want to inquire about, sponsorship and advertising, you can do that there as well. For general inquiries, our email is info@warroomsports.com. While you're on the site, there's memorabilia you can do. You can actually go on in, cop some T-shirts or something, or you can go click the blog tab. Read our latest article in the All Sphere Sports and War blog. Click all the icons and tabs to follow us on every piece of social media there is. Subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Watch our webcast on War Room Sports TV. You can download our free apps. You can get everything on the go right on your mobile device, and that's for iOS as well as Android. You can join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room. Shout out to those in the chat room right now. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign up through your Facebook or Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about our show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, the chat room, everything while we're on the show. So, just keep continue to talk to us. Casey Mack, we see you out there, and, we'll bring your points to the show. If you want to call in and speak to us directly, that number is 323-410-0012. You can press 1 when prompted. And if you're already listening from your phone, you can press 1 if you want to talk. Let's see if Rob has done, with this young lady that told me to get back to him. Rob.
Yo, what's up, man? How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Rob, you let it go? You let it go home?
Hey, yo, man. It's just like YG said, man. Because I ain't got time for that, man. That's all I got to say. So, here we go.
No doubt. Shout out.
Hello?
What's good, though, Rob? What's good, man?
What's good? Oh, man, it's good, First of all, man, play that track, and that's for the future track of the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Eagles. Play that track, man. Let's go.
Okay, let me check it out. I forgot you have theme music at this point. So, but I Hey, Rob, what's the weather like out in Cali these days, man? What's the weather today, man?
Like 75 to 80 is real clear. And there was an earthquake on the shore. I'm kind of worried of that, but we good, man. We can sleep through an earthquake. Man. You can't sleep through a tornado or something like that. But anyway,
no
man.
No doubt.
Yo,
what else you got for us, man?
Everybody is on. First of all, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of mad. I'm happy that the Lakers are finally relevant again. That Jenny Buzz made Magic Johnson the HNIC. You know what I'm saying? And he bought the Lakers back. I'm not kind of happy with the ticket prices.
You're a LeBron lover now.
Huh?
I say you're a LeBron lover now. You're a Bron section.
No. It's you know it's complicated too. It's like you got Laker fans who you got Laker fans who wanna win, but rooting for LeBron. But here's the thing, it just doesn't matter. Like if he wins 2 championships, that'll be great. If he wins 3, we have a problem. And by the way, all I gotta say is I get this out of the way. Robert Moorhead, stay your ass in Cleveland, and Court Bennett, keep dodging bullets and sucking on LeBron kneecaps in Chicago. That's all I gotta say, man.
Yo, real quick though, man.
Yeah.
You know, here's what I want to say real quick while we got you on, because you out in Cali. I found it interesting, man, that you know, I got a lot of folks out in California. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all my people out in California. But I find it interesting how like the Rams started off so hot, right? And because they were playing so well, some of the city got behind them. The Lakers had a couple preseason games, and cats then forgot that the Rams even exist. Like, it's such a basketball town that, just those 2 preseason games, and cats don't even care about the Rams no more.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of I know. That's why it was kind of dumb bringing the football teams here, because why would you bring a football team here and you're going to be when you already have 2 big markets already? You have the baseball market and you have the basketball market. It's always been a basketball city. Let's not get twisted. It's always been a basketball city. But now you have to rival these 2 markets. Now, if they win a championship, maybe you'll see a little Rams fans. But at the same time, I don't even think they can rival the legacy of a USC or UCLA. But before I decide, I really want to talk.
The reason, go ahead. I would say the point that you made is the reason why they went there, because it's one of the biggest markets in the world, so they feel like they have to penetrate that market, Paul, somehow, some way. But to me, it was interesting watching the dynamics play out.
It's their inferiority complex. They have an inferiority complex, LA does, when they look at New York, because New York has 2 football teams, 2 basketball teams, and 2 baseball teams. So LA feels they're behind. You know how that goes, man. They're behind in everything.
Hold on a second. Hold up. Time out.
Hold up, Rob. What I'm saying is, it's not the city, though. It's the actual NFL, because the city doesn't support it. So it can't be the city that wants it. The city doesn't want football, but the NFL is looking at the market, and they feel like they have to be there. But to me, I was like, okay, so the Rams have put it together. They put a good team together. But once the Lakers play the preseason games, folks I know out there and watching the media don't even care anymore. It's like basketball is here. Like, it's just a weird dynamic to see it play out. But I don't know how they're going to sustain those amount of teams over the time period, because the Chargers don't draw right now. And you're talking about putting a brand new stadium. They can't draw fans right now.
They can't. They can't,
right.
And they can't, and they never will. I mean, come on, Deb went out to a Rams game out here when they played the Eagles. He saw how many Eagles fans were there in L.A. This is a basketball city.
We can take 50 people to the next Chargers game and walk up and get tickets. You can't do that in Philadelphia. You can't do that in Green Bay. Like this, you also can't do that in a Lakers game. So it's clearly not a football town. But anyway, man. With that being said, Rob, what else you got for us, man? While you're here.
Oh, okay. The Kanye thing. Before we get to the Kanye thing, what'd you say about politics, sports?
No, I said what I was saying is, do you think that it affects sports in any way at all? And from the game standpoint, does it affect the game at all?
I mean, yes. Without politics and sports, these white folk will never enjoy the black athletes they see now. You know, people don't really take that into account. You know, when they integrated the league, and like he said, like one wise person told me, wherever there's money, there's politics. And I'm going to re-listen to what Tobias said, because Tobias just broke it down. Like, it's all about it's all about the dollar. The reason why the Chargers left was because nobody wanted to deal with the cost and all of that with the stadiums. LA wants to do it because they're gentrifying everything anyway. You know what I'm saying? The same thing is going on with the Raiders. They want to gentrify everything anyway. The same thing will happen to the 49ers. They don't even play in any of the Bay Area. They play way down the coast, like in the middle of like a rich, non-populated area. About athletes, about the athletes, about how you separate the athletes from politics. It's very hard for me because Jim Brown really, really, really broke my heart. It really broke my heart because this is a guy with your grandfather. This is a guy that your grandfather.
He broke our hearts too, man. He broke our hearts too.
I'm blaming it on CTE.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with CTE because I know some. I talked to some Black Panthers who've been through a lot of PTSD, with the government trying to kill them and all kinds of crazy stuff, and they still in their right mind, But the thing is,
no, you missed my point. My point is, I'm blaming it on that because I don't want to deal with the fact of what the reality is. But anyway, go ahead, though. Go ahead.
I feel you, and it's hard, and people gotta look at the future and the end game and the legacy, and Jimmy always says this quote: do you want to be on the right side of history or the wrong side of history? And the thing is, through all, you always want to be on the not on the right side of history. Just think consciously. I mean, people were talking, and I don't want to use Eminem's reference, but people were talking about, why is Eminem talking about Donald Trump? Well, he always wants followers, this and that. He's just trying to write off the being woke agenda. Well, if you listen to his albums before, he was talking about George Bush. So, like, you can see the consistency. And if Jim Brown wanted to be consistent, like in the 60s, and stand up for Ali, and when he was talking about black economics, and when he was talking about black ownership in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, he should be consistent on this note. When somebody is like basically a manifestation of white supremacy in probably the most powerful position in the world. So it's hard for me to convey that reality, but it's a reality. And for people, and for people, like, even when I told people when I got an argument in class when people got mad that I told them I voted third party, and they reached and I did the whole class was arguing, and I tried to tell them, like, Trump is not the only. It's like black folk know that Trump is not the only racist white president or racist white man that ever walked the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? There are millions there are millions like him. And why vote third party? Because I don't want to compromise. My great grandma was a mammy.
Amen.
My dad at one point was a union worker. Was a union worker. And when they were boycotting Alan Rouse in the late 90s, he told me, don't go to the store, don't cross the picket line. You know what I'm saying? People with very fair wages. I think somebody said it at best. And everything you do is a political stance. The woman you pick is a political stance. The food you eat is a political stance. The thing that we convey in, the ratchet videos and stuff I share with my friends is a political stance. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I share funny pictures and stuff on Instagram, on the low key in the DMs, but I don't go as
man,
far
listen,
to say wait. I don't go as far to say as generalize the entire group. Like, you know, like a lot of dudes generalize baby mamas, they generalize our people, they generalize Latinos, they generalize everything. I don't go as far as that. You know what I'm saying? Sharing that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Listen, man, it's not wrong. It's not wrong, man. You gotta be diverse, man. Like I donate my time in the community, but also double tap stock pictures on IG. But anyway,
Bob,
real quick to what you went.
Supporting us for a long time. We appreciate you, brother. I just want to say that we do.
Absolutely.
Really, really appreciate you.
We gotta move on though, Rob. But thanks for the call, man. Thanks for checking in for my Cali, man.
I just want to say one more. Thanks, man. I just want to say one more thing. To Tobias talking about undocumented immigrants and stuff like that. I want to tell all brothers to look up the history of Mexico in relation to Africans and how the second president of Mexico abolished slavery, how American War was about slavery, and to think about this. Like, one thing I don't agree with Dr. Claude Anderson is when he's very anti-immigrant, and to me he's very anti-African in his approach to not reaching out to the motherland and doing some economic work with them. That's what you have to do. The resources is there. The money, the spending power is here, but the resources are there. If you make those two connections, things will happen. You know, they can deport,
it's context to that too.
But they can deport all undocumented immigrants the next tomorrow, and black folk will still not have jobs, will still be in poverty, and we'll still be in the same state we were 50 years ago. So
yeah, but Rob, that's a way deeper discussion, because Dr. Claude, his approach and his thinking isn't that simple. It's not that simplified. There's a reason why he says what he says, and you know we can get into that offline, man. But thanks for your call. We got to move on.
Yeah. All right, fly, man. Peace.
All right,
Yes, sir. So, you know, we got to talk about some topics, B. Also, we got to talk about what happened while you were on the grind. And this is brought to you by Sports to Book. If you're tired of reading the same old sports book with the same old sports list, rankings, and imaginary starting lineups and all that trash out there, go to sportstobook.com or warroomsports.com and get your copy of Sports to Book. It's an amazing bestseller, and you got to cop it. Sportstobook.com. It's time to talk about what happened while you were on the grind. I don't know if you actually saw this footage, but LaMelo was in Lithuania playing a game, and the gentleman bumped him, and Melo slapped him right in his grill, and it was straight hilarious. Like, and I shouldn't say that because, you know, it's no different than me sharing WorldStar videos, you know, which I don't do that much. But like, Melo straight slapped this ball, man, and then, you know, Joe got up, took him, and it started to a little incident over there. But did you see the video footage at all? My brother B. Austin, I don't know what happened to him, but all I can say, for those who haven't seen the footage, make sure you go see the footage of Melo slapping the ball, because it'll definitely make you laugh.
I saw the footage, and it was funny. Hopefully, you know, the gentleman is all right. I think a slap from a beige, tall woman isn't going to be a problem for him. But as I looked a little deeper into it, I realized, Melo is very much, first of all, his name is LaMelo. I only recognize one Melo. LaMelo, you know, he has been very suburban in his approach to things, and it's probably not his fault. It's his dad's fault. If you had that much of a problem with the ball that fouled you, which wasn't that tough of a foul, why didn't you ball your fists up, man? Why didn't you give him that work?
No, I think it's more embarrassing to slap a man than it is to close fist punching. Like, I just bust out laughing because he just straight slapped the ball. Like, I could do nothing but laugh. It's way more embarrassing. Like, it's way more embarrassing. To get snuffed is one thing, but to get open hand slapped is kind of embarrassing, man. But shout out to LaMelo, man, because LaMelo, they say he's 6'8" now. I don't know how tall he is, but the boy definitely grew, Paul, and he's actually looking like an NBA player these days in terms of his size.
Yeah,
he's
legit. I'll say this: he's legit 6'6". He might be 6'7", legit. Like he's tall. He is definitely tall.
So
the NBA is not in his future. The NBA is not in his future. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Big Baller Brand fans. The NBA is not in.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I think he may get a shot. And the reason I say it is because his game, he has game. And he's like filling out his size. And pause, but he may get a shot. He definitely may get a shot, man. So had to bring it up because we got to keep up to Big Baller Brand. Those holding on line, we'll get to you in a minute. I want to bring this story up for the next caller on B. Austin because I got to hear your opinion on it. Right? A mother has filed a federal lawsuit after her son was cut from the varsity soccer team. Now, I want to give you a little bit of context because the headlines read just like that, and I was going in and I read, a little bit. I got a little bit of the story, and not that my opinion changed anyway, but basically he played junior varsity, moved up to varsity or whatever, and he was cut. They said he was on the borderline of making the team, but it was a couple guys who played JV who didn't make it, and because of his school, the men aren't allowed to go back and play JV as a junior. You only can be on the varsity team. But those same rules don't apply for the females. And, funny thing is, I remember in my school, I think it was the same way, too. You couldn't play JV as a junior. I think you had to get, like, a special waiver for some reason to play JV as a junior, but you couldn't just, like, try for JV. You had to be on varsity as a junior and a senior. But I don't know whether in my school whether the rules were the same for males and females. And pardon me for those who get offended at the term female. That's a real thing, by the way. But so that's what the lawsuit is saying, that it's unfair because the ladies teams can actually do that. What do you think about the story? Do you think that part changes? Do you think that part changes your immediate reaction?
No, I think that her son trash, and he shouldn't even want to play JV as a junior. What? Let me not. I am with you in my high school experience. Once you hit junior year, you couldn't play JV, and the way we was wired, none of us wanted to play JV after junior year. Like if we weren't varsity, matter of fact, if we weren't starting or getting serious minutes, like what are we doing here? Why are we here? Like we not.
But her argument is her son just loves the game of soccer and he just wants to play. And
then go play rugby.
Easy for him to play.
Go play rugby.
So basically, given that context of how the ladies soccer team has different rules, you still think it's soft, huh?
Yeah. I think that she's feminizing her son. When something happens that she doesn't like, she's not going to get him out there to run those hills, get him that training to get him better, yell at him, make him put in 25 minutes in the morning, 25 minutes at night after practice, to get better, to earn what it is that he wants, which is a varsity look. He wasn't good enough. It's going to happen in life. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And get out of choice. You either accept it and move on to something you can be good at, or you put the work in because you want it that bad. She did not see the movie Rudy. She didn't see Rudy. She didn't get the lesson from Rudy, man. Rudy didn't accept it. He didn't accept it. I don't care. I'm going to put this work in.
Listen, man.
Go ahead.
All I got to say about it, that story, like, even if like, I would be embarrassed if my mom did that anyway. Like, any way you look at it. Like, you know how it's catch when your mom come in the gym and you know your mom going to draw when you play the game, you get embarrassed right away. Like, come on,
Jimmy,
man.
I didn't even think about it from that perspective. Okay, so let's speculate here. The lawsuit goes through. He wins. Yo, how you gonna go face your teammate, man? Like, how's that gonna work? Like how you gonna? What's the team dynamic?
No,
like,
let's say the team, yo. You know we got to get cooked. Yo, if my teammate filed a lawsuit or something and they threw him back on the team, soon as you walk in the locker room, you getting clowned right away.
Yo, he wouldn't be able. Yo, we would clown him. Yo, we would literally clown him in the game. Like, he would get clowned in seconds.
He would quit. Yeah, he would quit. He would quit. He would get cooked. He would quit.
Yo, because on the low, we talked about Richie Incognito, but, yo, what he did that happened every day around my way. Like,
you be all right. You tough, right?
Like, figure myself, B.
Yo, real quick, though, Kyrie Irving, right, he apologized for former flat earth theory. I saw the article that said he now believes the earth is round, but I actually listened to the podcast in which he said this. He didn't necessarily say that he believes the earth is round. What he said was he didn't recognize the power in his words, and he apologized if he hurt anyone with his whole thing and how he was stuck in the matrix of just conspiracy theories at the time. But he never really has said that he switched his beliefs. He just said that he apologized if anyone was offended by what he said.
No, why do we live in a world where Kyrie has to apologize for his idiot feelings? Yo, why does he need to? Listen, he doesn't have to apologize to y'all if he's dumb enough to believe that the earth is a square. Let that man believe that the earth is a rectangle. Why does he have to apologize? Jimmy. They made my man apologize for being stupid. Yo, they made him apologize for being stupid. Huh?
Yeah.
You apologize for the feelings that you hurt when you said that the earth was flat. Huh?
What? Yo, I think that's Naj. We're going to get Naj in the line real quick. Before we get Naj in the line, though, I just want to definitely give some quick birthday shout-outs. Listen, man, I think you got to understand, and this is another thing about athletes, they worry about their brand. So, he may have said that, this is affecting his brand. So who knows? Anyway, man. The birthdays are brought to you by your creator, whoever that is.
My birthday!
Yo, wait, Jimmy. We apologize to anyone we offended by saying the creator. We apologize.
No doubt. Derrick Rose. Yo, this can't be right. Derrick Rose. How old is Derrick Rose, man? This can't be right. It says 30 here.
30.
Is Derrick?
Yeah, he's 30.
Derrick Rose only 30?
Yeah, we old. Yeah, he's only 30. Yeah, he's 30.
I like it with the injuries and how his career played out, but I didn't know he was still 30. That young. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Yo, because of his career, he just seems older. Anyway, Tony Gwynn Jr. turns 36. We got Jared Weaver turning 36. Kurt Thomas, 46. AC Green, who's best known for the Jerry
Curl
green. He's known for playing on the team in never mind. I'll leave it alone. Anyway, Tony La Russa, the great manager, turned 74. We want to give a birthday salute to all these people on their birthday or their birthday week.
Yay!
Yo, real quick, check us out at warroomsports.com. Listen, man, that's where everything that we do can be found. So everybody knows that, but I got to say it anyway. That is the hub, warroomsports.com. Call and speak with us about any of the topics today. Call the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline 323-410-0012 and press 1 when prompted. If you are listening from your phone, just press 1. This is the homie Naj. Naj, is this you right here, right, good brother?
Yeah, man. What up?
Naj, we apologize for anything. We apologize for anything we've done that's offended you. We apologize for Kyrie believing the earth was flat. We just apologize, man. The culture of apology.
This gets us into a weird place, man, because I think it's presented to the world as if everybody is sensitive and these apologies are because we're a sensitive society. Well, the reality of it is we are a corporate society, and these apologies are based on branding, not losing customers, and making sure the money keeps rolling in. So that company that sent you that apology, they don't give a damn about your feelings. They just want you to keep shopping. And Kyrie's team, I'm sure, will put that together.
Perception is reality. So the perception is we saw. So I'm going to go with we saw.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. I'm just saying we are a very corporate culture, a corporatocracy.
Absolutely. But, you're absolutely correct. 100.
But you know, the soccer story. Now that gets into interesting things because of what we're talking about right now. Like soccer culture is not the most athletic pool of talent, so to say. So you're already not dealing with the top 1%ers when it comes. Yeah, man. Yeah, but with girls, it's harder to get as many to go out. So, you know, you don't have this available amount of people who are trying out and getting cut. So it would make sense for them to extend that on the girl side. It's not because they're trying to, take away someone's rights or anything like that. But the idea that this lawsuit is going forward, it's out of an area around St. Louis, which makes a whole lot of sense because soccer moms are some of the worst people on earth. So this is her idea on how to get this fixed. Reality is your son should be ashamed if he's playing on JV as a junior. Like that's just not something you do. And if you're a legit ridiculous sports parent, you transfer your kid to another school. You don't go to the court system to try to work this out. You work the whole old loopholes we've been using since the 80s. I had a partner who's our high school coach paid for their home so he can live in the district so he can play on our team. He was a McDonald's All-American, so now you see why he spent that money. But that's how you play the game. You play the loopholes. You don't try to sue anyone.
The reality, I wasn't even going to go into this, Nas. The reality is in American soccer, if you really are good, you don't even play for your high school. You wouldn't because you were playing for high school. Like, so you can't even make your high school team, so how trash are you?
Right. So, I mean, just accept that your kid is not good. Look, we all make choices in life. When we were in high school, the dudes who played with us freshman year who then got cut as we moved up the chain, hey, man, them dudes was fresher than us because they got to get jobs. So their gear was a little more on point than us because we had to play on the team and do the open gyms in the summer, all that. We didn't have time for jobs. So, there's a give and take to this, man. Let your son go be fresh somewhere because he's not great at soccer anyway. But, yeah, that story is ridiculous. I'm sure eventually it's going to get thrown out. I want to see the ambulance chaser that took on that case because that is a raggedy it reminds me of the affirmative action case from Texas.
Here's the thing, though. And I get your point about the girls not going out, but her point wasn't that he was good. It's like soccer was like what he liked to do, and she wanted him to be able to do it, but she was really fighting to get him on JV, saying that he can't even go back to JV when he definitely will make JV. He just came off of the JV team, but he can't follow the same rules that the girls can. So that's kind of what so I don't think her argument was like, she knows he ain't that good, but she just wants him to have that.
But Nas made the ultimate point. He should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed because he has to.
I told you, if he's my teammate, we gonna cook him. He gonna catch all kinds of trash talk. He gonna want to quit anyway. He gonna be like, Mom, I'm not playing. They keep talking about me.
All day, and deservedly so, man. But like I said, this sounds like a lawyer who is hell bent on going after Title IX, and he's found a way to do it, and he's found the right client, so he wants to go after it. This is what happened with the Abigail Fisher case in Texas. You had a whole group of lawyers down there who wanted to go after AA, and she was just the conduit for them to do it. And then they found out she didn't have the scores, she didn't have the out of school volunteerism, she didn't have any extra credit credentials, and she came from a school where she wasn't in the top percentile, and it was a really small, rural, raggedy school. So once that came out, it went to hell, and I think that's what we're seeing with this. I think lawyers are after Title IX trying to come up with a way.
That's an amazing point. Amazing point.
But yeah, man.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that angle.
Yeah, because what else would you couch the lawsuit in? It has to be something where you're saying these girls are getting privilege boys are not extended to. You know what I mean? But whatever, man. So what? You kick a young freshman off the JV because your old shaven almost got your license, junior still want to play on the JV. Like, nah, bro, that's not life. That's not how it works, man. Get better. Get better at your sport.
Yo, he gets no yam.
all day. If mama stepping in your life like that at that age, you get no yam. No question on that one. But y'all hit on earlier talking about legacy sports and, teams and all of that. I think some of that stuff is overblown because legacies change by generation. When we were kids, New England Patriots were bums. As we grew up, the New England Patriots became what they became. So if you grew up with them now, you don't look at them as their past. You look at them as the great team that did this. It's there. So L.A., the Chargers and the Rams are looking at it like this is a huge population, a whole lot of young kids there, and if they take on this franchise early on, especially because of the TV money, we can create fans for life if we put out the good product. They're not here now, but if we just keep putting this on TV, the potential for growth is so vast that they're willing to take the shot on us. So, yeah, the Chargers thing is not working out now. But, you never know going forward, man. All it'll take is that nice postseason run and, get the kids involved. Look, I told y'all, I didn't know Georgetown wasn't the HBCU. I was a Michigan fan because of Fab Five. Like, these sports moments create lifetime fandom.
I totally agree with you. I just found it interesting to watch the shift, because I saw people start to jump on the bandwagon because the team was pretty good. So people started jumping on the bandwagon. The Lakers played one preseason game, and they said, who cares about it? It was just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with the whole new Lakers team, too. They got LeBron and Rondo and all those guys down there. So a lot of it is that hype. But, it was a shift in just, even if you listen to, the LA Sports Talk Radio, no one even cared about it. Went from all Rams talk to, how many games the Lakers going to win. Can the Lakers beat the Warriors? It was all Lakers, and it was just weird. And even talking to people I know from out there, it's like, yeah, we off that. I'm like, off that? It's 4 games in.
Yeah, you're right. And if you're a program director, Warfield Salt, you do got to go in the booth and beat the hell out of somebody if they ain't talking Lakers. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
The Lakers and LeBron,
but you are
those
right,
two
though.
things coming together. You know what I mean? You got to do it.
It's a combination of
that.
Yeah, if that team can, the Rams that is, if they can have any level of success in the postseason, plus with the new stadium, because people want to come out the first year just to see the stadium, because the stadium is supposed to be an amazing stadium, which is one of the reasons they went there in the first place. The renderings of the stadium are just beyond belief. So if they get the stadium that they're proposing, people will come out just for that stadium, and if the team is good, they may sell people right there. But who knows? Time will tell. But it's just amazing how much of a basketball town that LA is. So.
Yeah. And like you said, deservedly so. And then on the other point, the Golden State thing, man, I think a lot of this comes from Golden State being so self-congratulatory and patting themselves on the back all the damn time. We changed how the league this. No, you got 2 of the top 7 players in the league on your team. And then a few of the top 30 on your team. You can call this genius coaching if you want to, but I will maintain that Raggedy Derek Fisher would be considered a genius if he had taken that Golden State job and Steve Kerr got stuck out there with Phil in New York. We will be talking about these two dudes in totally different ways because anybody can look like a genius when that's what you're rolling out. So, yeah, when the rest of the league tries to emulate it, yeah, you can run the same set, but that ain't Steph coming off that pick and roll. That ain't KD pulling up at that, like y'all said, free throw line extended, 2 crossovers in that same damn pull-up that you can't do nothing about, but you know he going to do it. What you going to do about it? Take it in the face.
That's the same thing I said. We can make all the adjustments in the world, but I ain't making adjustments with Steph. I ain't making adjustments with Clay. I'm not making adjustments with Durant. I'm not making it's just David West probably can start on a lot of teams. Seriously. And I didn't even bring up the fact that now they got Boogie. So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and try to find a time in the NBA where the second best player went to a championship winning team. You won't find another time where this happens. Not old guy Wilt coming somewhere. We talking about in his prime, young second best player in the league goes to a championship level team. Add Hakeem to those Utah teams and tell me Mike wins 6. So I mean, we're in unprecedented territory, man. But from June to June, somebody's gonna get hurt.
I would like your. I know you probably stated your opinion on that. What is your feel to second best player in the world in his prime going to a world champion? How because Jimmy will say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jimmy, but you'll say that that's crotchety old man, get off my lawn. But what's your true feel about that?
Actually, no. I said with the LeBron in Miami, I wasn't as mad. The KD thing,
right.
It's still his decision, whatever it may be. That just rubbed me the wrong way, Paul, because of how it happened with them being up 3-1 to that team and then losing to that team and then him going there. To me, that made what he did different than what LeBron did. So my argument was when LeBron did what he did, that's different. Like, he met with his friends in the off season and they said, "Yo, we gonna go to Miami." Like, to me, that's a little different. Like, I could see me, like, my homies, like, "Yo, we gonna play down here in Miami," with the women and the beach and all that kind of stuff outside of the basketball part of it. To me, that's different than Durant, like, what he did. But I think people have
Miami
to
would have had to be coming off a record regular season wins and a championship, and then LeBron goes there to make the thing similar, man. Like, we're already talking about champions when he walks in the door. So, yeah, it is
they
a
won
little bit
73
of old man
games.
Like, set the record. So it is a little bit of old man griping, but there's also like a balance of power thing. If somebody in your fantasy football group makes a trade that upsets the balance of power, everybody's going to flip out. Y'all going to try to get it vetoed. Like, y'all going to go off because now it's not competitive anymore. So, I mean, I think it's a legit argument just to say about KD, he was too good to do what he did. Now, the pressure from 24/7 sports media where we deciding people's legacy at 25 and we telling people if they ain't got a chip, they ain't nothing, I think that's more responsible for him making that decision than anything. You know what I'm saying? The Skip Baylorization of sports, like this ridiculous hot take era we in right now.
Listen. One of shout to Miz who's in our group chat. He said that he was watching TV or listening to sports radio, and they were talking about how Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of football. And I'm like, hold on.
Already.
I'm like, Steph got 2 MVPs and 3 championships, and Patrick Mahomes hasn't played 8 games yet. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we really doing here? And speaking of that, real quick to both of you guys, we got a comment in our group chat. It says that JaVale McGee is going to expose Steve Kerr for giving him limited minutes. What do you think about JaVale McGee and how he'll fit in with his new team and everything?
No, he's not gonna expose Steve Kerr. He's just gonna be a better player because LeBron is going, and Rondo are gonna spoon feed him. So he's gonna be a better player, but he's still gonna make the same boneheaded mistakes. And as far as usage rates, when you got who they have, hell, how much could you carve out for JaVale? You got KD, Clay, Dre, like come on, man. Like, come on. It's still JaVale.
Yeah.
Gotta get out of here.
JaVale McGee averaged. Correct me if I'm wrong. He averaged 10 minutes or less for that Warriors team. Like, let's not get it twisted. If he ends up as the starting center, Steve Kerr's not going to be exposed at all. Just like you said, he's one of those players where I look at him and DeAndre Jordan and Tyson Chandler as guys, whoever the person is that passed them the ball should get half of the points for that score. They can't score on their own at all. And JaVale might do something like put a little shimmy shake on, reverse pivot, and shoot every now and again and miss everything. So he's a retard. So he's an athletic retard and a great defensive presence, but let's not get it twisted like giving JaVale McGee 35 minutes a game if the team is giving JaVale McGee 8 or 9 minutes a game. Like, come on now. Come on.
Right.
I think the
like
comment was
when
based
y'all
on like
were
the couple
you're
times
stealing minutes. Yeah, remember when your coach used to put that terrible dude in and hope for a couple of possessions because somebody's in foul trouble, and after he made a few good plays, they pull him immediately before the whole bottom fell out? Yeah. If you play JaVale 30 minutes, there's going to be a lot of bad plays in there.
I'm looking forward to it. I think a lot of people are like reacting based upon those first couple preseason games. He seemed to fit in with their up-tempo offense they're playing because he's very athletic. And he had a couple good games. But anyway, man, Naj, man, thanks for the call. Thanks for the fire as usual, man. We appreciate your support, man, and have a good week, man. But thank you.
Oh, same, man, and we got to get into. We're gonna have to get into Dr. Anderson sometime too, because there's a couple of points I got about him that sometimes that brother, I don't know, man. Ooh,
but and it's funny because I've had this comments about a lot of people. I said there is no one I completely 100% agree with every take they have, right? So and we can talk about the greatest men who ever lived, whether we're talking about a Dr. King or a Malcolm X or Elijah, whoever you talk about. I'm going to find a problem with something they say, but I try to take the good from each of those gentlemen, and not putting him up there with those. I'm just saying in general, there's nobody walking the face of this earth that I agree with 100% of the time. You dig? But try to take the positive. But I agree with you. There's some suspect things. But we'll talk about that, Naj, man.
You mess around and be in a labor camp or something. If it ever comes to that, there might be some bad circumstances where you agreeing with every damn thing. So yeah, man. Shout out to y'all.
That's true. All right, we appreciate that. Take it easy, homie. All right. Great points as always by Naj. Real quick, B. Austin, we got to talk about some football, which is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. If you need a custom website, go to digitalextremetech.com, or you can call 267-205-4203. But you got to stop using Wix sites, step your game up, and let's talk about some foosball. I know people probably talk about football. You don't watch football. No, I don't watch football. Although I've kind of, I shouldn't say loosen my stance, but I'm just not the same. What I mean by that is, right, so the first season, last season, I just didn't watch anything at all. If it was a highlight, I cut it off. So I was in Minnesota last week, and people was watching it at a restaurant I was with. I didn't get up and walk out, but I'm still not actively watching football. But what I do is keep up with the news that's surrounding football. And there's a story that I find interesting because it's part football, but it's part labor relations, which is interesting to me. And there's two stories, and I want to combine them here for you, B. Austin. And one is about Earl Thomas, who a lot of us believe will one day be a Hall of Famer, but he got injured, and everybody knows he's fighting for a contract, but he came to play anyway. And as he was leaving the sideline, he gave the middle finger to his own squad. So he gave the Seahawks the middle finger as he was carted off the field with a broken leg. And what's kind of connected to this is Le'Veon Bell, who says he set the return in Week 7 during the bye week. And I think it has something to do with the amount of money he's able to get if he comes back for a portion of the season. But how do you see this thing playing out with now a high-profile player getting hurt when he was arguing for a deal, and Le'Veon basically now being a poster child for this, for him sitting out? What do you see going on, and will anything ever change in the NFL? Will this lead to more guaranteed contracts? Will this lead to anything changing in terms of the labor relations with the players?
I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to start with the last point you finished with. It's not going to change much because the NFL has the weakest union in the world, and there's a huge separation in that union when you look at marquee players like I don't know, take Tom Brady for instance, or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers. Those guys make so much money. If they try to make a move, then they're going to say fight and stand with us. But the average NFL player doesn't make enough money to have the cojones to stand up and fight the ownership in the NFL. So that's where therein lies.
Do you think Tom Brady is even? You think Tom Brady's even willing to help if they ask him to come fight with us, considering the amount of money he made? He hangs with the owner. I mean, if they ask Tom Brady, listen, I already know what's going to happen. As soon the first thing they ask Tom Brady to come stand with us.
Yeah.
There was no part to that.
The labor dispute until the NFL gets a stronger union, that ain't gonna change. I feel bad for Earl Thomas because now his legacy, that may become a part of his legacy, that middle finger in Seattle.
Yeah.
And he's not that type, like, he's a classic guy. He just was getting frustrated with the fact that he lays it on the line. You all know how Earl Thomas plays football, like a missile with no brain.
Yeah.
He's an unguided, and he asked them to pay me commensurate with the fact that I'm still the best free safety in the universe, and they was like, and now he's injured. Le'Veon, I'm not mad at Le'Veon at all. They franchised your man 2 straight seasons under the guise of saying, yeah, Le'Veon, we gonna get it done. We'll get it done, Le'Veon. But if you look at the Steelers, they have a history of stringing players along. Ben got his money, Antonio got his money, but there have been other cases where cats didn't get their money from the Rooney, and Le'Veon's like, look, you're not making me get 400 carries. You got to pay me.
Listen, man, I've one of these days, cats will realize that, you know, the actual sports and sports business, like they're both there to different things. Sports business is sports business. There's a professional athlete that literally told me, and I promise respect, I won't put your business out there, but he has been on our show, so y'all can go check all the professional athletes that have been on our show. But how a team literally told him, like, you know, your family and you ain't never going nowhere, and the first deal came, they sent him packing like the day after having a meeting with him and telling him that he's family. You know, so but he was telling me the story just in reference to, like, you know, sports business is sports business. It is what it is. You know, so I think a lot of young players probably will see this though. But what can it actually do? Who knows? I mean, because what's the alternative, right? Just to, you know, sit out and. But to your point about Earl Thomas though, my immediate reaction was like laughter when I saw him do that. But then I thought about it and I kind of came to the same conclusion as you. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be part of his legacy, and it's kind of sad because he's a guy that's a classy guy and a very, very talented player. In fact, a guy I think may possibly go to the Hall of Fame, and I can see them trying to hold this against him because, and it's a teaching moment too, right? So you tell the youth, like, you got to control your emotions. You can then make one decision in a split second when you're acting on emotion, and, you know, and it carries with you forever. You know what I mean?
Now,
so it's a
context. Some context. His teammates.
Well, you only got 10 seconds, but we got to get out of here. Go ahead, though.
His teammates knew it wasn't directed to them. It was strictly at management and coaching staff. Le'Veon Bell, go get your money double back, boy. Don't let them get you. If you play from week 10 on, you get your vested interest in that year, and it counts towards your pension. So hold out and get that money.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something. In regards to that, man. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. But and I know everybody knows who it was directed at, but you know how people hold against, like, especially the media. Well, they'll bring that up and try to make him out to be a bad guy when that's not even who he is. Anyway, man, with that being said, man, B. Austin, salute to you, man. We rocked this evening. It was a great show. But thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the war room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, those in the group chat. Salute to y'all. You know, everybody, man. We got a lot of conversation today, man. All the calls who called and got in, we appreciate it. Those we didn't get a chance to get to, we apologize. Gus, salute to you for handicapping the games and coming on to talk to us for a little bit. Tune in next week, live right here on demand as we recap NFL Week 5 and preview Week 6. We'll also catch you up in everything else happening in sports in general, because every sport is pretty much playing right now. A lot of boxing going on, so we got to bring that up. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here. Catch everything we do, social media, blogs, webcasts, everything at the Hub, WarRoomSports.com. Get my book at SportsToBook.com or right at the Hub, WarRoomSports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. War Room Sports. warrumsports.com. Get that mobile app. It's knocked out. 323 working 0012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic and the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Jack Beck, the Austin. I'm Jack. Up here coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Progressive.